Hi, my name is Kristen Welbeek, and today I'll be talking about PTSD. My title is Resilience Rises in Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. And we'll get started here. Let me just share my PowerPoint and then we'll get started. First, I'm going to talk about a basic definition of PTSD and then some common symptoms. A basic definition of PTSD, a disorder where a person has difficulty recovering from a traumatic life event. The condition of the disorder may take months or years to recover from traumatic life events or memories occupied by intense emotional, physical reactions. Common symptoms are re-experiencing flashbacks or nightmares, avoiding certain places, feeling on edge constantly, or hypervigilance behavior, trouble sleeping at night, irritability, anger outbursts, difficulty concentrating, self-destructive behavior that includes substance use of alcohol. And I have a rural victim up there, and then I have a little boy right here because mostly anybody can develop PTSD. And then I have some facts about PTSD and then some myths about PTSD. I'm going to start with the facts of PTSD. PTSD is not only experienced by war victims, many people can develop PTSD after a traumatic life event such as rape, being exposed to abuse or neglect. PTSD is not only limited to war victims who experience natural disasters in foreign countries. PTSD was not recognized as a disorder until 42 years ago. I find this fact very interesting. PTSD was not seen as a diagnosis, and the diagnostic and statistical manual of Psychiatric Association until 1980. And then also PTSD was not added to the World Health Organization until 1992. Caregivers can develop PTSD too. Caregivers can develop PTSD due to being exposed to the same life events as loved ones. The genetics of family members can play a factor into PTSD too. Family members who experience anxiety or depression are more likely to develop PTSD. Now I'm going to talk about the myths of PTSD. No one understands what I am going through with PTSD. People with PTSD often feel isolated. Finding therapists and support groups who empathize with them can be challenging for people with PTSD. There are specialists such as the Emory Healthcare Veterans and support groups at medical hospitals that empathize with people in need. You can only manage PTSD and not treat it. This is false. PTSD can be treated through evidence-based treatments and therapy sessions such as prolonged exposure therapy and cognitive behavior therapy. Therapy requires too much money and time. Intense outpatient programs are free, and nonprofit organizations have financial assistance programs. to help clients pay for treatments. And now I'm going to talk about the stigma of PTSD. The stigma of PTSD is often portrayed as a culture of silence that is linked to a condition with violence, such as guns, or drug use or substance use, including marijuana and alcohol. The disease of PTSD is often seen as a veteran's illness. Why others avoid help or therapy with PTSD? The fear of being judged by others and individual reasons, where people think that no one can help them. There's a shortage of mental health counselors and providers, and nonprofit organizations and hospitals. Many people avoid help with PTSD due to a lack of insurance coverage or the cost of therapy sessions. Now I'm going to talk about some of the recoveries for PTSD. I have cognitive behavior therapy, exposure therapy, prolonged exposure therapy, and then eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. First, cognitive behavior therapy. Therapists will have clients problem solve their behaviors by having them recognize unwanted feelings and thoughts. Furthermore, therapists will help clients develop coping strategies and goals to change their behaviors throughout the therapeutic process. Exposure therapy. Therapists will expose clients' fears in certain situations, will expose clients' fears in certain situations or fears of objects in a safe environment to reduce anxiety or avoidance of certain behaviors. And then prolonged exposure therapy. Therapists will confront and process memories or feelings with clients by having them tell stories with cognitive behavior therapy. In addition, therapists will create coping strategies and goals to help clients reduce anxiety and fears that are associated with clients' triggers to help them with the healing process from traumatic life events. And then lastly, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Therapists will use bilateral lights or their fingers to have clients look at life events to help process life events. Therapists will ask about the trauma to process life events and negative thoughts to create coping strategies and goals to reduce anxiety and negative behaviors. And now I'm going to talk about social supports. Anxiety and Depression Association of America, they have a list of support groups that are free across America to different people with mental health disorders, including PTSD. National Alliance on Mental Illnesses, a helpline that provides support by chatting online or calling. The helpline can help family members find support groups in local areas and give referrals to people in need. I have the 1-800 number listed there. And now I have some hope messages. Healing trauma isn't an overnight process. It is a lifelong journey that requires patience, support, and self-compassion by Jamin Corey. Trauma changes you. Healing is about creating a new version of yourself, the one that is stronger, wiser, and compassionate by Michelle Roser. And this is my favorite quote down here. The effects of trauma can be passed down through generations, but so can resilience and healing, which I will testify to this mostly because I have struggled many times in my life and I have been very successful. I got my bachelor's degree in social work, even though a lot of people told me that I couldn't, and I just had resilience to like go get my bachelor's degree in social work. And then lastly, I have some tips to reduce PTSD, and then I have one more slide. Practice deep breathing, practice mindfulness and meditation, connect with a support group, journaling, establish a routine, practice muscle relaxation exercise on a regular basis. And then some resources for PTSD, National Center for PTSD, Veterans Crisis Line, dial 9888 and +1, or you can text 838-255 or chat online. And then the Veterans Affairs Vet Center offers counseling, outreach programs, and referral services for veterans or people with PTSD. The Veterans Affairs Medical Center, community-based outpatient clinics offer counseling and PTSD treatment programs for veterans. And then lastly, I have some references. And that is all I have. Thank you for listening.